All right, this is documentation of the specific environment as well, which is shared at the specific environments of Ovid Family Community Library, for example, at 215 East C Street. Starbucks documented as a specific environment where you're going to see the shared presence of what is the illusion. The light source, which remains for the duration of a day. This is supposed to be sunlight, and then you're understanding what has nothing to do with sunlight, and then you're paying attention to the rest of the environment. This is appearing in the shade. This is the ongoing molestation while demons are surrounding you. This is demonic activity. Demons are obsessively maintaining presence in your path, keeping you under surveillance, and this engineered light is key to that. This is how you're identifying the specific environment, and this is also present at third-party facilitating venue 2301 South Euclid Avenue, where this same entity engaged in kidnapping, and it is readily identifiable as the specific environment. Because at 4:31 p.m., which the video is going to be uploaded to the Compare the P.O.C. folder, when you are juxtaposing what this state, the same entity, the state of California, is engaging in now that I am in Los Angeles, and you are looking at what is not possibly the natural environment at any time of day or any time of year. Nonetheless, the documentation is replete with, in the Compare the P.O.C. folder, documentation that is gathered during daylight savings time. All right, so this is captured. I stayed at 2301 South Euclid Avenue on more than one occasion. They kidnapped me the first time on September 25th, 2020. That's during daylight savings time. Is the exact same time. They are in relevant position after I'm documenting while I remain there the maintenance of the light source, including like I already stated, at 7:49 in the morning on September 25th, the sun is rising. That's the specific environment. The sun is not rising over the pool at 231 South Euclid Avenue, where I'm capturing what is the sun rising outside of my living room window at 1806 North Alvarado Street. Both addresses are where the entity is engaging in stalking in helicopter. Both addresses are where the entity is maintaining a specific environment, just like you see impossible light activity. All right, but I want to be clear, the light that you're looking at on the ground, this is equally impossible light activity. This is the light that you're seeing on my walls, appearing, flashing all over, appearing on my ceiling. This is that. This is what they're walking in, driving in, living in, shopping in, visiting in, any and everything that the demon possessed are doing. They're doing it in this specific environment, and this is also identified as a specific environment. This is appearing just this. There is absolutely no explanation for this. This is the illusion of sun, hence sunlight, but that's not the sun. It's a light source. The entity, a demon-possessed population, is keeping American citizens under surveillance within a demonic imitation of the natural environment. And it is directly seen through what is documentation, where you are witnessing what is in excess of 11 hours, where the light source is both rising and setting at one address. And so I'm uploading at 4:31 p.m. The light source is going to be right here over me. And as I walk around this property, it moves around the apartment buildings, being over whatever side of the apartment buildings I'm at. While it's a matter, as a matter of documentation, it's present as early as 6:45 in the morning and as late as after 6:30 p.m. At no time is the sun ever going to be at the economy end. And this is the entity that's kidnapping. This is the entity that is, again, placing a light source over the courthouse, which is a state facilitating video at 10:30 in the morning. This is speaking to that pattern of conduct where, again, the entity is stalking in helicopters. That was not an exception at the courthouse. I was there, and the entity was engaging in what is the maintenance of the light source, stalking in helicopter while I am documenting. This is the entity's pattern of conduct, and this is supposed to derail, deter the ordinary target individual. But under these circumstances, this is showing and specifying, very closely revealing what is a very, very closely revealed pattern of conduct, a pattern of stalking, a pattern of terrorism, where you are exposing both that they're demons that are engaging in this criminal system and that they're stalking, obsessively stalking, and they're very dangerous psychopaths stalking under what's a light source that's never going to be over 2301 South Euclid Avenue at 4:31 p.m. And that's what you'll see in that video that I'm uploading. Crossing path right now is Gabriel Arriaga Carbajal. This is a violent sex offender who is engaging in terrorism, going to federal prison. And you also saw him engaging in the pattern of conduct at around the same time where the light source is documented over the courthouse at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, while he is crossing path here at 1800 through 1818 North Alvarado Street. And as he drives by, demonstrating that he's a demon, an impossible light moves all across building 1818 and 1816. You already saw him engage in that, and that is under the light source, which would be nowhere near the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. That's already evidence that's on the record. Okay, you have the light source, by the way, you can use that and prosecute, because while the light source was there on that day while he was engaging in stalking just like he is now, under the light source that was still over this property at 10 o'clock in the morning, while I was facing, my back was to building 1800 and I was facing my leasing office, the light source is hovering over me during the 10 o'clock hour. That's 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That would have been 6 hours later. Still evidence of what's not the natural environment. But I'm showing you what is the facilitating venue and the corrupt government that's sitting in courts, being demons, sitting on benches, practicing law, and kidnapping American citizens, exercising fictitious authority. That is the San Bernardino Superior Court, the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, and then you're looking at what's the light activity inside of my apartment, at what time is the sun ever going to be over the San Bernardino Superior Court in the middle of the day, and then you're looking at it remaining over me right here in the middle of the day, and aiming light as though the sun is going to be present 4, 5, 6, 7 hours later, as though that would be sunlight ever appearing through closed blinds, as though sunlight is ever going to just manifest in the middle of the wall out of nowhere. That's never going to happen. That's capturing the pattern of conduct. A demon-possessed population that is stalking you as a group in a very specific environment, and also engaging in what is criminal monitoring. I want to be clear, the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court is in violation of Title 18, 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. Every last judge, attorney, even the security guard, they're engaged in criminal surveillance, and they're engaged in Title 18 federal stalking. That's what the entirety of the entity is doing, and this is also captured while I'm showing you the pattern of conduct at the San Bernardino Superior Court, where the light source is in the middle of the day, directly over my head, and the entity is flying over in helicopter, just like you've seen the entity engage here, where there will never be any sun arriving over the San Bernardino Superior Court at Arrowhead and 3rd Street in the middle of the day, while it's remaining here, rising and setting. And that remains the same when the demonic imitation of the environment covers up the light source and then reveals it toward the latter part of the day, because this demon-possessed entity is monitoring documentation and can in no other way avoid you looking at and juxtaposing directly the sky space above the venue at 231 South Euclid Avenue and the sky space above 1806 North Alvarado Street, for example, two different regions where the sun is never going to be at the same place at the same time, creating any light activity, and never creating any of that light activity where it's just appearing out of nowhere. That's capturing what is the P.O.C. The Fontana Police, the San Bernardino, not the San Bernardino, yes, them, but specifically right now, I'm capturing the LAPD. They're going to federal prison. All 59 units are going to federal prison. This is prosecution of terrorism, the exposure of demonic activity, understanding what it actually looks like, what it actually behaves like, the threat that it actually is to your life and your safety and your everyday living, in addition to what is the facilitating venues of the court. Let me be clear, it's 4:26 p.m. The light sources as a matter of documentation over me, where I was subject to this pattern of conduct, and on September 20th, 2020, September 25th, 2020, this same entity is kidnapping. And so this same entity that is engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping, including at the Ovid Family Community Library, I will upload the documentation of what is the sun present early in the morning, the sun present still remaining after 6 p.m. Never going to be the sun, ever. It's also not going to be the sun here and there at the same time. Not going to ever create any of that light activity, that weird light activity appearing out of nowhere. But that is the shared pattern of conduct, where the entity is engaging a documented pattern of exercising fictitious authority exercising fictitious authority under the law. And it starts with the corrupt police departments that you are witnessing, stalking and keeping American citizens under surveillance, failing miserably at maintaining any appearance of legitimacy or innocence. They could not contradict the pattern of conduct even if they tried. All right, so you are understanding it starts with the corrupt entity, the people of the state who are in the shoes of the state. The police are acting with the people, the fire departments and the ambulances, and then they are infiltrating what are the state facilitating venues, these hospitals, these facilities where people are being kidnapped, exercising fictitious authority. The state surveillance is going on into the courts where that pattern of conduct is underway, and this is criminal facilitation, systematic obstruction of justice, where this entity is exercising fictitious authority, entertaining what are artificially engineered information to create a case where they're keeping you under surveillance and then kidnapping you under that. That's exactly how that system operates. And you have what is, by the way, never any probable cause or reasonable suspicion. Even if the target individual steals a candy bar, the entity is monitoring the targeted individual. It will never be on the right side of the law. Not that I'm advocating crime or anything, but understand who the criminal is and how they're gaining that information. And then they are jumping in, still engaging in that same criminal act of fictitious authority under the law. So I want you to understand on both ends, the entity is making up information against me, just made it up. All right. And then the courts making up information as well, denying actual court hearings, making up court hearings on paper, making up a relationship with so-called mental health professionals, kidnapping you while they are monitoring. And that's the significance of seeing the light source over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court at the same time where I'm showing you it's here at 10:29 in the morning, 9:48 in the morning, and after 12 p.m. in the afternoon at the San Bernardino Superior Court. And this is during daylight savings time. Remember, before or after daylight savings time, it's only giving an hour. So it's the pattern of conduct, period. But I've been so precise to include only that which is within daylight savings time. It is currently 4:29 p.m. So this is indeed the documentation of what is the light source. That is nowhere near 231 South Euclid Avenue, nor what is maintaining presence out of 215 East C Street. Both of these are venues that I'm mentioning because these are venues where this entity that's engaged in the pattern of conduct in 2024 is still engaging in that pattern of conduct, posing an ongoing threat to my life and your safety and your well-being and your liberty, engaging in what is the threat to kidnap on and on, stalking 14 times when I was in my apartment, and you're looking at that impossible light that's coming through closed blinds and the light source hovering over my bedroom window. And then you're going to look at the video of during daylight savings time where I am at 4:31 standing on the second floor. The correct room is 227 and the light source is directly over my room. But then you're looking at that light activity. It is as impossible as this light activity. It is as impossible as that light activity, okay? There's no sunlight that's ever going to result in this. There's no sunlight that's ever going to result while it's over Economy Inn, okay? That's facing the 60 freeway at 4:31 in the afternoon, all right? It is 4:30 p.m. and this is P.O.C. Let me document Title 18 criminal conduct. That is speaker companies acting via Juan Carlos, and I believe he's not a natural-born citizen. Not only is he going to federal prison, his ongoing documented impunity on the venue of the internet in violation of Title 18 in concert with the entity that's group stalking in relevant position. This is how they're monitoring when I'm recording video. This is how they're monitoring the people of the state that are group stalking in the path. Operation of the communication device in the engineer light is P.O.C. It's also, again, relevant to federal stalking online and on via communication devices. So I want to document that speaker companies is engaging in ongoing impunity, and that's relevant to when, let me be clear, Maria Solis Alvarez is not separate. They're all monitoring together. This is the entity. Speaker companies using the business of speaker companies as a means to engage in the criminal system. It's relevant for how long they're going to federal prison. It is currently 4:31 p.m. and this is P.O.C.